Yeah. Hello and welcome to the episode 5 of the Indian Football Casuals. We are back for the post mortem of India's brilliant performance at the Asian Cup. Not so brilliant though. We have Srijan Chaudhary, avid Indian football fan and also a sports writer and journalist. And we will go through all the three matches, especially the Syria one where we hoped we would get some result. The entire meltdown of Indian football fans after the game, CMAX press conferences, reactions from Indian football stakeholders like Shaji Prabhakaran and Chobe, who is silent so far, and how it all turned out in the other games as many teams performed better than they were expected to, and the entire failure of AIFF and CMAC and FSDL in the Asian Cup and what it means for Indian football. And we'll also discuss the Super Cup final uh, scheduled to be held on Sunday between East Bengal and Odisha. So Srijan, first reactions of your Asian Cup debacle, like what do you think has happened? What went wrong for India in three matches?
What went wrong is a long list. First impression is disastrous. First impression is disastrous. Let's say even the most pessimistic of souls would have thought of ending the group with the way we ended it. 0 point 0 goals, fine, I get it. The most pessimistic person, goals and points, well, they're just stats. Stats don't always reflect the entire scenario of the thing. What actually should be the criteria and point of talking, in my viewpoint, is the effort. And for me, in what I saw in the three games, we didn't put up much effort, in my viewpoint. I know people will say it's easy talking and all, the field is different and everything, but I've seen this same bunch of players, this same bunch of the same team, play way better and give way more effort on the pitch. Somehow in these three games, the biggest football tournament in Asia, and somehow right there in the big stage, everyone sort of just let their shoulders down. What is the reason that caused it? Well, again, people will have varied opinions about it. I feel, as we spoke in the previous episode also, the approach with which we went into the AFC Asian Cup, I feel the approach was entirely wrong. We were already talking about the negatives rather than focusing on what was in front of us and taking the positives. Now, going into it game by game, uh, the first game against Australia, the first half, you know, textbook park the bus football. And you couldn't question Steamac on that. The team gave 100%. For that that was the best 40. We were talking about how, even Steamac said that, the Asia Cup starts from the Syria game and all those things, and the first two games would be uh, you know a phase where we sort of try out the team and anything. While we expected the team to play its best football in the last 45 minutes of the Asian Cup, we played our best football in the first 45 minutes that we took field. That was the best piece of football that we played. Second half also not bad, but then yes, that mistake from Gurpreet, and then obviously one. We always knew the moment Australia scored, they were going to get another. But it was a brilliant effort. I would say that Australia game, that we sort of reduced it to two. That
Mm-hmm.
increased our hopes a lot. That was sort of, you could say that something that gave people hope. Maybe we could do something better. With Uzbekistan drawing with Syria, that also gave us hope that chalo, Uzbekistan played out a draw with Syria, we might have a chance there, might have this, might have that. Into the Uzbekistan game, and bang, reality check. Right then, right there. And from then on, what happened, I don't know. But that third minute, I think it was the third minute or the second minute when we conceded against Uzbekistan, and then from right then on till the last minute of the Syria game, the team just lost the plot. Against Uzbekistan, we really didn't know what to do. Still, we tried to play attacking football. I'd give Stimac that, he wanted to take the game to Uzbekistan. So yeah, that is okay. I get it, but didn't work. It didn't work. And also, up forward, going forward, we really didn't create that much of a thing, apart from a Naurim Mahesh long ranger and a few movements here and there. There wasn't much penetration inside the box. And let's be honest, Sunil Chetri is getting old. He's not as quick as he was. And with all due respect, he's a legend of the game, and there's no point denying that. But age catches up with them all. So there's that. But the worst performance happened in the Syria game. I think the moment I saw the starting lineup, when AIFF and AFC shared the starting list, I started my questions back then there itself, that why are we playing with a Deepak Tangri and Apuya in central midfield against Syria when we don't have much creativity in the side? So what it immediately meant was all the attacks had to go through Changte or Mahesh. So it's just that take the ball, spread it out wide, let the crosses come in. Okay, crosses coming in, you have Manveer and Chetri up front. But then Manveer had to drop in deep to support Tangri and Apuya in midfield. So that left Chetri up front. And then, for a lot of reasons, we didn't even get much going forward because we couldn't control the midfield. Our midfield was in tatters. Syria completely controlled the game, and if I'm not wrong, wait, I'll just check out the exact. Syria had 20 shots on goal against us. 20. We had just 8, and that to just one on target, and that, you know, no point in talking about that. Compared to that, Uzbekistan had 18 shots on goal. The only Australia had 28, but then they're Australia, you're right. So against Syria, when we are getting, we're allowing them to have 20 attempts at goal, and our midfield is in tatters. And I really don't know, why didn't we the approach that was needed in the game against Syria, we took that in the game against Uzbekistan, and we got punished. And we got punished. It's clear as that. A lot of questions will be arise, why this, why that, whatever is it. And Steamac, for all his things that he said and done, the amount of what do you call it, support he has got from AIFF, no other coach in Indian football history has received that. No other coach in Indian football history, right from pre-independence era to post-independence era, you check it out. He has been given the most amount of support. We've played every FIFA friendly dates. He's got camps. He has 50 or sort.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He has had 50 odd games under his belt. He has the luxury of choosing from a wider pool of players, and yet we see this sort of performance. This performance is poorer than what we had in the Bob Houghton era in that 2011 Asian Cup, the where we were grouped against Australia, South Korea, and Bahrain. There, at least, we had something to show against for the likes of South Korea. That it was that Australian side with Team Cahill and everyone. It was the South Korean side. If I'm not with Park Ji Sung and all. So when you have those
Yeah,
teams,
Australia became champions of Asia 4 years later itself. So
so we played against them and we gave a fight, and a fight in such a way that worldwide media organically started calling Subroto Paul Spider-Man. It's nothing proud for a side or a coach that his goalkeeper is getting all the praise, but yeah, it is what it is. Our defense was steady. We sort of did what we needed to do. We didn't lose the plot. But this performance right here, given the comparison of the teams that we were playing, I don't see, like, we didn't have a proper goal scoring chance. I think bearing one that header in the early stages of the game, that cross from Manveer for Sunil
Mm-hmm.
Chetri. If we count that, but again, that was difficult. Other
But
than that, we didn't
missed
have
the
any.
jump here.
Yeah. Other than that, we didn't have any proper goal scoring chance. Not even one. Where after playing 270 minutes of football, if this is our outcome, that we can't even create one proper goal scoring chance, and like he's had this core of players. Okay, people will say Anwar was injured. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. Jigson was injured. Okay, that Anwar and Jigson, okay, too. How much difference would an Anwar and Jigson make to this side if your approach is wrong?
I think the whole run up to the Asian Cup was pretty poor. I'm not gonna go into tactics or technicalities, how we played, what we did yet, but I think we lost the plot mentally itself. Like when your coach is very pessimist in the media and the fans are also expecting barely nothing except very very optimist ones who said that we can do something. Most of the fan base was like, yeah, we are going for a tour, for a Qatar tour. I think that mentality did not do any good, because when we start giving respect to a side, okay, yeah, they were superior. Two of the sides were extremely superior. Australia, Uzbekistan, there is no contest there. I know, but again, when you start giving too much respect to the teams against you, you lose the plot. 50% plot is lost there, because when we look at Malaysia against South Korea, South Korea is 100 times better than Malaysia, but Malaysia did not threat at all. They went with the ball, they went for challenges, they played outside wide, they played in the middle, they did not give any rest to South Korea. They went, they attacked, and they played with their whole hearts out, and they had nothing to lose. They were already out of the competition, and South Korea were looking to somehow not play Japan in the round 16. So it was an important game. So I think if your coach itself is not very confident, you don't expect the players to be all positive, all optimistic that yeah, we are gonna get a result. Against Australia in the first 45 minutes, I think that was the finest defending display since the Qatar game in the World Cup qualifiers in the previous cycle. In Qatar, we defended without will. And it was fantastic, and yeah, the entire Indian football ecosystem was very positive, so positive that we that there were expectations that we might even somehow get a goalless draw in Uzbekistan, or somehow even beat them. So they were expecting that at the first match. So I think defending was not the issue. We defended pretty well, and I think that kind of acted against us. I think Stimac got too comfortable in in that defensive zone, because against Syria, a game where we were supposed to go out and play our football, we started the game on a very very defensive note. Like we were not looking to win that game as well. I don't know what Stimac was thinking. Like, was he going there against Syria to win the game, or to get a marginal defeat or a draw? Like it seemed like we were playing to get the draw, because we were not able to move the ball at all, and with the lineup again, as you said, like without anyone in the middle. Like Brandon Fernandez might have some issues, but again, he is our best creator, and he barely gets anything in C-Max stint. He barely has started games for us. So I think a game like our opponent like Syria was the game where we were supposed to take the charge and take the initiative to create chances, and did not do that as well. About Uzbekistan, well, people are saying that we created chances and we could not score. But again, there's a thing that if a team goes 2-0 ahead in 20 minutes, the team does not need to do anything more. They can chill at the back and just do their thing, and expect the opposition to make obvious mistakes, and they can hit a third goal. And I think that's what exactly happened against Uzbekistan as well, because after 2-0 they were pretty chill, and they sat back, and they allowed us to go with the ball and play our football, and we could not do anything much. Even then, they like, except one Mahesh Navaram shot, I think nothing was on target. Rahul K probably missed
Hit the
header
bar.
as well.
He hit the bar.
Yeah, yeah, he hit the bar. Okay, so I think even against Uzbekistan, if we were defensive like in Australia, we would not be allowed to play with the ball as well, since they got a pretty quick lead. I
They
think we
went to
were
the
like,
halftime with 3-0, so they knew, okay, this
yeah,
game is done and dusted. So second half
yeah,
they were very chill and they said, okay,
yeah,
ठीक है चल. And like they were
exactly.
also
So,
preparing up for the Australia game so that they don't over exaggerate themselves, don't pick
exactly,
up an
exactly, exactly,
injury.
exactly. So I think it's very tough to find positives from this competition, especially against Syria. Like even my pessimist self was, I think I a win might not be a win, but I was really hoping we score, because we have scored against Kuwait in the World Cup qualifiers. We scored twice against Iraq. We scored against Lebanon, Iraq, Syria. They are pretty similar teams. I know Syria has three origin players this time around, but again, on overall level, these are pretty three, four very teams in the same bracket of quality. So not even a goal against Syria is shambolic. I think all the excuses T-Mac has been making about a lack of youth players, youth development, that this that. I think those excuses do not stand ground against Syria, because you don't need an ecosystem to beat Syria here. You might need an ecosystem to beat Australia, Uzbekistan, but whatever Indian football has to offer, and as you said, like Stimac is a coach who has had received the most amount of support, right? He has received the most amount of support from AIFF. So I don't see any point blaming AIFF here, because AIFF has done brilliantly in this senior team cycle. So whatever support Stimac needed was there for the taking. So you don't expect to be outplayed by Syria in the Asian Cup, because that was a game we had to win. And the sad part is that everything else fell into place. Like everything else fell into place for India. We could have actually qualified if we had beaten Syria. So even the games in the other group went our way. So I don't know what else do we need to qualify from this group, because we were absolutely outplayed by Syria. It's not about scoring goals. It's not about creating chances. We were absolutely outplayed by Syria in the third game, which we were supposed to win. So nothing, like literally there is no positive from this competition, and it gets worse. It gets worse when we think about the other teams like Palestine, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Tajikistan. These are teams which are in our bracket. Like these are teams India can win, can lose as well, but these are not unbeatable teams. When you see these teams go out there, express themselves, score goals, qualify for the first time, Syria, Tajikistan, and Indonesia Indonesia qualify for the first time, I think it's very disheartening to see that we could not get a single goal in 270 minutes. We could not even create two proper chances. So we have a huge problem here in football, in the senior team, in the striking arena as well. Like Chetri, despite being the oldest guy, he was the one who was running. He was the one who was chasing the balls. So like there is no end to it. Like we have many solutions to find. There are too many problems from the senior team, from the league to Stimac to the players to everything. Like I don't know where to start, so I will just go to Rutvich about his reaction. Like what went wrong, Rutvich, in three games?
I mean, first of all, selection. There were, I mean, when you look at team selection, there was no, I mean, when you compare for the team which played against Australia and team which played against Syria, when you compare them, you see no pattern in them. I mean, in the first game, okay, understandable. We had to, I mean, we had to defend, and okay, first game was a decent. I mean, the team was decent, right? Deepak Tangri was a very good performer that day, but then comes the Uzbekistan game. I mean, Uzbekistan game, when you know Uzbekistan players are physically, I mean, they are 6 feet players, and then you play midfield with Apuya, Suresh, and Thapa. It makes no sense. I mean, you it's understandable that okay, Deepak Tangri was injured, but there was no excuse not to play Brandon Fernandez there. So first that. Second game, Steve had said in the pre-match press conference that Changte had a groin injury, and the third game, Changte is starting. So I don't know what sort of groin injury is that it gets cured in 7 days. Second, Manveer Singh. I don't know why. Even after the first game, he was visibly tired after 60 minutes against Australia. He played the full match. I mean, Stimac used five substitutions in the first game, but Manveer wasn't replaced. Second game, the story continued. Third game. So first game, I mean, when you look at it, it gave you the glimpse that okay, Rahul. It gave you the glimpse that Rahul KP can start on the wings. He has pace. He could have started. So first point is selection, as I said. Second point was substitutions. Where okay, first game he made very late substitutes. Second was it was too late. Selection, the whole selection was a blunder. He accepted it. Okay, and the third game, I mean, he could have substituted in 20 Manveer Singh in 15-20 minutes if he was bold enough. He could have substituted Manveer and played Brandon Fernandez and let Sunil play as a number 9. So, second point is substitution. Third is the talking point is there was no visibility in their play. Even after 46 games, India played 46 games under Igor Stiman, excluding the Asian Games. 46 games, right? India scored 54 goals, only 54 goals, right? And yet he's playing. He's still going defensive. Okay, first game it was understood. Second game the selection did not make any sense. Third game yet he could have. I mean he could have been bold enough and okay said right. Manveer isn't working for 15-20 minutes. I'm going to replace it with Rahul KP because we know that it was quite visible that India wouldn't be able to score with a proper build-up, as I must have said. We had discussed, right? We had to hit them on counters. And Manveer Singh, when you have Manveer Singh, you can't hit a counter. It
We
was
can
as
never.
simple as we can never. So it was as simple as
Like,
that.
like, do you remember the Syria game where we had that chance of a counter and that pass from Manveer?
Yeah.
He he
Yes,
he had
That
two
one.
options. Yeah, I think Chetri on the right and Mahesh on the left,
to
and
the left,
he could have played any one of them,
either.
and he gave that
Yeah,
ball to the defender.
yeah. Starting first 5-7 minutes. So yeah, I mean, see, India gave another aspect. I'll take. See, after 46 games, if India stays at 0 goal and 0 point, the entire project, if you see, Igor was the most backed manager in Indian football history. India has played every FIFA windows, and when COVID wasn't there, we even played outside the FIFA windows in June and July. Right? In
Mm-hmm.
2019, we played Intercontinental Cup. In 2022, sorry, 23, we played Intercontinental Cup. Right? Steam match was back. He even gave 40 players the debut. Okay, I'm not. See, this is one aspect where you can. I mean, he was very good. Was he got he got the players what he wanted, and he nurtured them. But somehow you feel that his tactics wasn't good enough. I mean, he wasn't bold enough. If he was bold enough in the selection itself, from the lessons of the first game, second game. then the third game we wouldn't have lost. I'm telling you, if he would have learned his lesson, we wouldn't have lost the third game. We could have buried the game in the first half itself. We had two good chances. We had two good chances, and all both of them were squandered. And if Manvir wasn't there, we could have got even more chances. So it's just a frustrations that come out, like where are we heading now? Every 4 years it's like, oh, Indian football can't, we cannot be worse than this, we cannot be worse than this. I remember in 2019 when we lost to Bahrain, we thought we couldn't be worse than this. And then Steam Match came, and Steam Match showed promises. Right, in the first year, he gave us the gameplay. Result wasn't our favor, but we thought, okay, results will come. And then COVID came, and when you look at this SAF Championship and the Kings Cup in Thailand, we thought, okay, this team can do something. But we are on square one. We are there where we are, even worse. So I don't know. I mean, even this time in 2019, there was a thing that the whole of league was playing possession-based football, and we were and under Constantine we were compelled to play a 4-4, a typical English game of 4-4-2. But now we play. Steamage plays a style of play which resembles the league. The most, I mean, when you compare, most of the teams in the ISL play in a similar possession-based football, apart from few. So you can't even compare that. There were changes in style of play, this and that. Don't know. I mean, everything possible was done by AIFF. I mean, if you want to put fingers, you can put on everyone. But if you want to just give your honest review, AIFF back to you. AIFF is paying your money, right? Every possible way you are back, and you don't take any accountability after 3 games is pure. I mean, is pure ignorant, to be very honest, because even after the third game, he did not put his hand up and say, "Okay,
He
bye,
he put the
galti
player
meri."
under the bus.
He no, he didn't put okay, kind of sort of yes, but okay, but there was no accountability, and now reports are coming in that Kalyan Chobe wasn't interested in giving Steam as the contract renewal, nor does he speak to Mr. Steve Match. In fact, Kalyan Chaube did not meet the players. We before the tournament, if any of you guys remember, Mr. Satyanarayan, the acting general secretary, went to Qatar and met the players. So it's everything in tatters right now. And don't know, there is a press conference scheduled
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yes, so we'll probably know what happens. Probably. I don't know if there are questions, if the questions being asked will be taken by the members to Mr. Steve Match. We don't know how. I mean, some or the other journalist will ask him if there is an accountability from his end, and if the upcoming 4 games, round 2 games, will determine his determine his future with the Indian football team. Let's see what happens. Tomorrow is the day.
And like,
Come on.
even if we, I somehow like seeing what the way Stimek dealt with this entire scenario, my confidence for him has really gone down. The group that we are in, you know, if we don't make it to round three, we should all just slap ourselves. Okay, if we should all slap ourselves, practically speaking, what I would really want for is, maybe have let AIFF and the entire Indian football national team ecosystem sit down, look inwards at the problems, and if a change is required, if a change is necessary, you know, doesn't matter what you and me think, after all, they are the decision makers. If a change is required, make that change early. Give the new coach that time and space in the round two qualifiers itself, because I feel by here and there we should make it to round three. Even if you get someone in interimly, we should reach that hurdle. And then that, because if we get a new coach in early, that is if they feel it's necessary.
I don't think it is possible because the
I
clear
know
indications. Yeah,
the reasons we know, obviously,
yeah,
ifs and buts.
yeah,
But I'm talking about dire, because this is a dire situation. In people would be like,
yeah.
you're talking about dire situations. We are in a dire situation. We have been in a dire situation in football for a long time, but we just don't want to address it. So my thing would be that. And overall, you mentioned a good point, which that our national team is now playing a similar brand of football that majority of the clubs in our top level league is playing or tries to play similar football. I think apart from Bengaluru in the starting of the season and Jamshedpur, even Jamshedpur did well regarding in this respect. Every other team tries to play that thing, and
Yes.
yet in the game against Syria in midfield, without too much pressure being put on our midfielders, central midfielders, we kept giving the ball away under bare minimum pressure.
I have an honest question. If just this Asian Cup, just these three matches, if we had Constantine in place of Stimac, would we have had any difference of performance by game style or by scoreline? I don't think so, because Stimac kept on promising evolutionary gameplay, passing the ball, this and that. There was none of that against Syria. And against Syria, it's not a super team, okay. And so if we can't replicate what you're promising in the most important game of your cycle, I don't think when I'm gonna play that, because I think Syria was the game where we were supposed to do what we have, what he has been promising for 4 years. So we cannot do that in that game. I don't think doing that against Lebanon in some random continental cup in Bhubaneswar makes any sense to me, because that was the game to be taken and we did not take it. We went with it. We went in that game with a timid approach. I don't know what we were doing. So I don't know what happens after this. Like, where does Indian football go as an entire system or and the national team itself? Like, what do we do? Like, do we hope that we go to round three? Because if we go to round three, there's a good chance Steamax PR kicks in and he might get extension there as well. So I don't
He is
know.
getting an extension. He is getting an extension. There is a 2 plus 2 year contract, which means that if we qualify for the round three, if we win the next 4 games or we qualify the next 4 games, he is staying till 2027. As simple as that. If
Yeah,
we are
that means playing 10 games
I
on Asia's best with Steamax.
yeah. See, if we win this, if we qualify through this group, then okay, PR also kicks in, and okay, you feel okay. The draw wasn't in our favor. We had three to four players in our starting 11 who were missing, and okay, fair enough that we didn't perform. we just had a bad tournament. But if we qualify for the round three, it makes you can talk his PR kicks in, but the round three is something that India has never qualified, right?
That makes
India
it
has,
worse for us.
for
Headlines
us,
everywhere. India king.
maybe yes, maybe yes, maybe no. Siri John was highlighting a point. I'm sorry about the style of play. Yeah,
So
Yeah, yeah.
Stimac promised evolutionary football and different football and stuff. Where it all
yeah,
mattered, he really didn't show up. And Shayak asked the question regarding Stephen, and I'll go back. I'll take you guys on a memory trip back to the Thailand game that we had in UAE, the first game.
yes,
Did we play long balls?
no,
Thailand was surprised by the approach we went in. That was the difference in that game. Thailand never expected India to keep the ball, pass the ball around. Yeah, they were the usual diagonal balls, but then every team, even Barcelona, will you'd see Barcelona or Manchester, Pep's Man City play those odd diagonal balls to the wingers from the right back to the left winger. That's football, that will happen. But it was that approach. It was that intent to play football against sides that we can compete with. Stimax, in his later part of his career, he started building that against sides that we can compete with. I don't know if you guys remember that China friendly that we went to China in.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
You know,
yes.
you know,
Gurpreet's
we,
master class. Yeah, Gurpreet's
Obviously
master class.
China pressured us 60,000. I think it was 60,000 odd crowd.
Yeah, full
Intimidating
house, full house. Yeah.
crowd, and yet we held our nerves. We held our nerves, and we were trying to play football. I think we hit the post once. I forgot
Yes,
whose run it was. I think Udanta from the wing, had that.
Yeah, we got
So
plenty of chances. Yeah.
it was that, in those games that we were doing it. And Shaikh rightly mentioned it doesn't matter if we play this 14 string passes from kickoff in a random intercontinental cup game against Lebanon, because in a game where it mattered the most, you're just fail to create chances, forget scoring. Team selection has been poor, really poor. And see, as you said, round three is something we've never qualified for. I completely agree. But then, given the group we are in, if we don't qualify for round three, that would be even worse than this performance that we gave in the Asia Cup against this
right.
side. Against these sides, if we can't really do it, then I'm sorry. Forget, even if there is a 60-team World Cup happening somewhere in the near future, we are not qualifying.
The round three thing is also a bit out of the way because the structure has changed. Like it's a expanded World Cup. So in the previous cycle, top two out of the five teams used to go down three. This time, top two or four will go through. So numerically speaking, also it's a bit easier. Okay. So we have also have to keep that in note because I remember when India made to the Asian Cup after the Hong Kong game in Kolkata in qualifiers, like there was everywhere, there were headlines everywhere. I was in the press conference. T-Mac said, "We have made history. We have we have gone to Asia for two times in a row." Then some journalist asked a question, "Sir, but it's a 24 team Asian Cup, so it has to happen for the first time itself." So so I think we are also have to keep that in our mind that structures are changing and the numbers are better in India's favor. So even if it happens for the first time in history, we have to know that the structure has changed. So I hope we keep that in mind
Just,
as well when it
just
happens in
see,
June.
see the entire structure thing is a very, very good point, Shai. And look at this AFC Asian Cup. Out of the 24 teams that took part, only 8 have come back home, and we are one of those sad 8 teams that have come back home. And yet, other teams that have come back home actually gave a good account of themselves in their last games and came back home. Look at Malaysia. They knew that, bhai, we have nothing. Kuch nahi hai hamare paas.
Amazing performance.
And yet that fight, despite, I think they were like against the mighty South Korean side, and you have that. You need that spirit. And now what I'm hearing is now they now I don't know what to call this. Instead of addressing the issues, now we are more into focusing into what? Okay, AIFF to take a call on the PIO. and other stuff. Right? PIO and all these can keep happening. Get some a different team to work on that, but at least have a core committee, or a, I don't know, selection committee or kuch to banao, and let them discuss this mess, because this could have an effect on this team leading up to the games against Kuwait and Afghanistan in the World Cup qualifiers. And if Afghanistan get their house in ready
Yeah, exactly.
before our
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
because Afghans, we are friends. Afghans and Indians are friends, no problem. But in sporting rivalry, they really want to have that one above us. They love us, we love them. That's brotherhood in a different thing. But on the pitch, it's a fierce battle. And if they manage to get their house in order, and those out, I'm not even saying the 18 of the 18 guys come back to the squad. Even if 10 or 11 guys come back, it
It's
could be
gonna be tough,
difficult for it could be difficult
especially
for
the
us,
away game. Yeah, yeah.
because
We
even those guys are also playing in the lower divisions in Europe and other nations. And we've seen how, look at Jay Gupta playing in a different league, some random league in Europe, lower division league. He just comes here and lights the league on fire. So it's that thing. Those
Yeah.
guys, and the biggest problem I had was seeing our midfielders lose the calm under pressure. And
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Like, yeah.
I'm
Please go on. Please go on.
I'm like, you have a guy in that bench who is who does that regularly in the ISL, passing the ball under pressure precisely. That's Brandon. He's built for that, and you're just making him sit there and watch the game. Sahal, I won't be too critical about Sahal. He was bought on late. He had an injury. He wasn't fit. So, I'm not going to be too critical on him. It's obviously hard coming back from an injury directly into a tight situation. He tried, but again, yes, it will take time. But Apuya, Tangri, Thapa, I don't know, like with the ball, first game, they were really good. Defending wise, they were good. But playing them as midfielders, we are never going to create chances and score goals. No.
So,
Which,
just a moment.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
want to give a clarification on the Afghanistan side. So, yesterday a report came out that 4 out of the 16, 17 guys who were not willing to be part of Afghanistan have come to the fray, and the AFF is starting a camp from 1st of February for the India game. So they'll have a
1st of February.
preparation. Yes,
February or March?
February or I mean, with the player, with any, I mean, whatever they have at the moment, they'll start it, and afterwards when the players are available, they'll bring it. The 1st of February is what I'm hearing. I'll still have to find. I mean, I'm
Okay,
eighty
so a
percent
camp
sure it is.
camp for the Afghan side.
Yes, camp for
Okay,
the Afghan side, not the Indian side.
okay.
Yeah, for the Afghan side, yes, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think they're pretty
Uh,
serious. I think Westwood was in the India game, right? India Syria. He attended the game. I think Westwood.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
some
yeah.
pictures there.
yeah.
Where
So they look serious. I
Westwood was
think.
in the yeah Westwood is in the was in the gallery.
Right. So I mean,
So that's sorted. That means the Afghanistan game is going to be another headache.
The away game will be
it's
very tough.
going
Like
to.
I have noticed, India suffer a lot against teams who defend low. Like in the SAF Cups, like if the team goes very low, we are actually absolutely clueless. We don't know what to do.
We don't
So I
have
think,
players that can penetrate the defense.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's
We
gonna be
we
problematic.
we are just now relying on Mahesh and Changte running down the flanks, and they can only run down the flanks when there's space given to them. The moment a team is low block, playing with that low line of defense, they don't have space to run into. That's when you need those killer people to make those passes through the lines. And that sadly we don't have. Sadly we don't have.
इंडियन फुटबॉल में एक बात है, अगर तू तेज भागता है तो आजा टीम में. So that's
तेरे
the
को
thing.
फुल बैक बनाएंगे या फिर तू वाइड मिडफील्ड बन जा भाई बस.
Uh, yeah,
और एंड सेकंड थिंग आई जस्ट रियलाइज कि भाई स्ट्राइकर्स प्रॉब्लम राइट. That is pretty evident from last 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Ever,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we had JJ, but we did not have anyone apart from JJ and Chetri. After JJ retired, we practically had no one. We tried
yeah.
Manveer, we
Rona
tried
Bagani,
Rahim,
yeah.
right? So, two players, David Lala Sanga and Lal Rinzwala Lal Bianca. Two players.
It's all fun. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. India played close to 20 games last season in 2023. In none of the camps, these guys weren't even called up. I'm furious because these guys weren't called up. Okay, you test them and say, okay, these guys aren't worth it for the level they are. It's absolutely what who did we have in the striking position apart from Chetri? Manveer Singh, who was injured, who doesn't play in a centre forward role in Mohan Bagan. We had Pandita, who had a combined game time of 30 minutes in the entire season, right? Who do we had? I mean, Vikram couldn't play in a centre forward role. We
Rahim
had,
Ali.
yeah,
No
Rahim
one, no
Ali, we
one, no
didn't.
one, no
There is
one.
no one.
So
Actually, proper
yeah,
center forwards, we had only two, Chetri and Ishan Pandita. Rest, no one.
yeah.
Manvir has
Rest
lost his touch. Manvir is
Manveer
now a wing.
has okay. So we had to you knew that you had two guys. Okay, Rahim Ali was in a fray. You had three guys in a fray. Why aren't you bold enough? Even sides like Korea. Korea has a huge diaspora. They can play a left back who's playing in K2. I mean, any random South Korean would be playing in the European leagues or in the Korean league is what 15, 17 team league. They must have had some Korean
Yeah,
left
yeah,
back, the domestic.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
if Jurgen Klinsmann can pick a player from the second division, what is stopping Igor Stimac? I mean, is it in his contract that he doesn't have to call up the I League players?
अरे
I
मत कर
mean,
भाई वीडियो रिपोर्ट कर देंगे.
by
उसमें उसमें मत जाओ, उसमें मत जाओ.
so why
And like,
didn't you? I
you
mean,
know, very good point, Ritwich. And if you guys remember, in the previous era, Stephen once for a camp called up Arjun Tudu and the two guys from Indian Army for CFL,
yeah,
seeing the
अरे
performance.
ब्रिटो.
No, no, not another guy. I forgot. So two people, Arjun Tudu wasn't even playing properly for any formal side. He was in the Indian Army Red team in CFL. He got called up for a national team camp. Couldn't make the cut. That's okay, but at least he was called upon to see. Okay, this guy is scoring goals. I need a striker. Let me see if I can get something. This in a time frame when we had Sunil Chetri, Robin Singh, JJ. And at that
right.
point of time, Robin Singh and JJ were scoring goals. It wasn't that both have dipped off and all. So in that period, if you can get these guys, getting a call up just to make Robin Singh and JJ feel that see you have competition coming in, irrespective of where this guy is playing. You can call a guy from the Indian Army for Shaya come in.
Forget Indian Army guys. Ralyanzola Changte, who was given a debut by Constantine, was not even part of DSK Shivajan's main squad when he was called up in SAF Championship in Kerala. Okay. He was in that youth camp which was sent to Liverpool. He was not a main player in DSK Shivajan's. So Constantine saw that there is capacity and he got that debut to him. So there are players who are not necessarily in the main leagues, in the main teams, but they can
Kurunian
do
was
in
same.
that position. exactly. Kukunia.
Corunian was playing seven-a-side football. That is Cape football. He was playing that. उसने बुला
Yeah,
लिया कि भाई आजा खेल ले.
yeah, exactly.
And the problem with Steve match is, when Stephen was here, he based himself here. He could have stayed anywhere in the world. He had the British passport, right? He had the British passport and he could stay anywhere and watch the games. But he didn't do that. He based himself, his family wasn't. I remember in 2017, 2018, when I just joined the media and I read some interviews that his family wasn't okay with staying in India because his family was staying in Goa and his family was not okay. His wife was not okay. But he made a thing that yes, if I am the coach, I will look after this side. He gave debuts to people. I mean, he जैसे बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में सड़क से उठा के स्टार बना दूंगा. Look
Yeah, that
at
it really happened.
and it happened. I'm telling you, Ashik had ACL. Okay, he was out. But if Ashik was there, he was a sure starter. Changte is a sure starter right now. He's 25, but he's very senior, right? You look at Subhashish Bose. Subhashish debut he made his debut under Constantine. You look at him now. When you go forward, he's not a comparison to Akash Mishra. Okay, fine, but look at his defensive stability. I mean, when you compare, I only remember one game where Igor Stimac went to an ISL game, and that too this season. Siri John will wait. I do to us. Thank you, bye.
Okay, guys, it was really nice. I have to go now. You guys continue.
Done, done,
And
done,
just a
done.
thing, I just
Yeah,
hope, we just get into the round of three by hook or crook. Anyhow, we can't miss this opportunity and we must take it. And as for the Super Cup final, well, just hope Orissa is painted red and gold on Sunday.
नहीं भाई
That's it.
वो बताता हूँ मैं एक चीज बताता हूँ प्लीज डोंट लीव जस्ट अ मिनट
Okay.
first
you
and what?
remember our chat group right where
Uh-huh.
a guy said कि भाई ओडिशा को वो जगन्नाथ का फोटो वो बैनर अनफोल्ड मत करने देना बाकी अगर वो अनफोल्ड कर
Oh,
दिया
walk
उड़ीसा
him. I
जीतेगा
think.
बाकी हाँ और अगर नहीं किया तो ईस्ट बंगाल जीतेगी तो
अरे
बस
अरे
वही
हम भी
चीज है
जगन्नाथ के भक्त हैं. हम भी जगन्नाथ के भक्त हैं. Don't worry. It will get
हम भी
neutralized. The
बना लेंगे
Bengali.
एक. हम
जगन्नाथ में
हम भी हम भी हम
ए-
हम भी बना लेंगे.
अरे पुरी में
चलो
जा
But
में
yeah, but
बंगाली
but
भरे पड़े
but
टूरिस्ट.
but I agree with your point. Ever since that they unfold that banner, they've been like sort of कुछ अलग ही mode में चला गया है. So yeah. Chalo then. See you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.
Done. You can. So coming on Steam match. So when you compare Stephen had this work ethic. The only time I saw Igor's team match in an ISL game was between Northeast United and Punjab FC after his contract extension because the contract extension was on a certain day. Next day there was a Punjab versus Northeast game in Delhi, and that night or next day morning he had a flight to Croatia back. So for a team like India, you just cannot, as Stephen didn't tell, but Stephen's work ethic said you had to scout players. You can't rely on the
Yep, yep.
ISL. You had to pick them up. If there are any issues not picking from a second division side, say it. See, if you're hiding that fact, I'll go on. I have I have nothing to hide. But
Yeah, but go
you
on, go on.
had that, yeah, you had, who are the other guys who you look after? apart from Pandita played 30 minutes, man. You look at Udanta Singh. I'll give you a stat because I was working on a piece. In 4.5 years, Udanta had only 12 goal contributions in ISL.
Hmm.
12. 6 goals and 6 assists. And he was in every Indian camp apart from the King's Cup. Apart
Hmm.
from the King's Cup, Udanta was in every camp from the King's Cup in 2019, the Intercontinental Cup, and all the other tournaments that India took part in. He was he was in every game. Uh, he was in every camp. He was called. I mean, there was no sense of accountability, and their selections didn't make sense. You had someone like Lalchung Nunga and Kotal. Right? Pritam Kotal is the most experienced centre back you had. You understood that Rahul Beke isn't working with Sandesh Singh. Why didn't you try Pritam Kotal? You didn't play Nunga. You didn't
Lunga.
play Pritam
Not a single minute. Yeah.
a single minute. What was the reason of calling them? What was the reason of calling them up? You played Brandon Fernandez, probably the best midfielder in the ISL. Even when you compare Sahal, his numbers
Brandon.
were better. Brandon's
Hmm.
numbers were better. But I mean,
Brandon was someone perfectly suited for the Syria game. Like he's not silky with like Sahal, but he knows how to pass, when to find the gaps. And I don't know why Trevor Sinclair was signed. I don't know like what was his entire purpose of coming to
भाई वो
India.
तो बोल मा
वो क्या
भाई
है ऐसा
वो तो
पता
बोल
नहीं.
ही मत मतलब क्या ही बोले भाई $10,000 बोल दिया अब भाई एक चांस बनाया भाई एक सेट पीस से एक चांस बनाया 3 गेम में
Our best set piece taker Brandon did not play a single minute after paying $10,000. Amazing investment. And about you are saying about Stamax's work ethic during the FIFA World Cup, ISL games were going on. The league did not stop. Okay, and this T-Mac
right
guys is sitting in Mumbai with the Geo Cinema guys, analyzing every single World Cup game with all the Rooney and other people, and does not know what's happening in ISL. So the league is on. What are you doing, man? You're in India. Go and watch the games. You barely come to India. Go into the studio watching World Cup games, man. Oh God, I have nothing to say here. क्या ही बोले.
नहीं
So
बोले भाई मतलब I honestly because I come from a small place, I would have enjoyed going into the press conference tomorrow. But unfortunately, there is an electricity issue at my
hmm,
place tomorrow at the press conference time.
hmm.
But I want someone who could ask them, and AIFF media team should ask the match.
कब है प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस टाइमिंग
Should
क्या दिया मैं ज्वाइन कर लूंगा फिर टाइमिंग क्या दिया
बाद में बताता हूँ,
हाँ
ये खत्म होने थे.
हम्म.
So media team needs to. I mean, there shouldn't be any filter tomorrow.
Exactly
If
they
if
shouldn't be.
if you are organizing a press conference tomorrow after the AFC Asian Cup, that means you are asking for accountability from him. Now, what may happen? There shouldn't be any filter. I mean, I hope every other journalist behave themselves, but you have to ask him questions. And schemas needs to take accountability. We know the issues that are highlighting in Indian football, be it grassroots development, be it youth development, but there wasn't a sense of accountability. 46 games we played, and we've had 0 goals and 0 points. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Yes. Any other remarks, if you have?
Nothing more to say. I just like the entire premise was very poor. Like from the start of the Asian Cup till the end, it's negativity all around. Even after the Syria game press conference. Like, see, I understand Steamac's concerns of AIFF not doing enough in the youth department, in the grassroots, ISL not giving enough chances to the Indian striker. That's all fine. Okay, I accept it. See, I am someone who does not believe in blaming coaches because I'm an East Bengal fan. I have seen coaches come and go every year. So I know coaches face problems. Okay, but when Steamac came in, he knew that this is what we can do. There is no point crying for PIOs. There is no point crying for OCIs. There is no point crying about grassroots youth football, under 17, under 22 World Cups, about Indian players not getting chances. He knew what he's signing up for. Okay, and it's not like as you both and Shidon said, he has had friendlies every window. He has had camps. He's the most backed Indian national team coach. Okay, AIFF has problems in the other departments, but in the senior team itself, senior national team setup only, AIFF has done everything possible they could do. So Steamac has no grounds to complain in that arena. Okay, so Steamac has to answer the media tomorrow. He has to he has to take responsibility. He has to take accountability that yeah, we were outplayed. We were not good. I could not implement my ideas on the pitch. He has to accept and he has to acknowledge. Because if he does not acknowledge, if he keeps on blaming the system, the blaming the players, blaming AFF, we have nowhere to go. So yeah, that is it for now.
That is it. That is it for the day. I mean, we could go on for 10 hours, but the question
Yeah,
remains: what next? What
yeah,
next for Ego's match?
yeah. So yeah, guys, I think
Let's
that
see.
is it. Yeah, yeah. Please. You go on. You go on.
Yeah. So that's about it. We'll get back to y'all in next week with the developments, because Indian football is something that never stops, that never fails to amaze. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Chalo.
Next week we will see more developments with this, and let's see. Chalo then, goodbye. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.